sat down, her chair just
Okay, good.
gross.
Okay.
She just went straight down and she was like,
Alrighty, you know what we're gonna do? Let's celebrate! Woo-hoo! Y'all are here because I wanted you to be here. That's actually the reason. Because you guys are our first year teachers, and I want to celebrate the fact that you're no longer first year teachers. Y'all are actually experts now. Because someone who's graduated from college doesn't know as much as you do. So y'all are the pros. So Miss Lyman, why are we here? What's our even purpose? So I worked with Peyton Meyer, and she said she gave y'all a survey at the beginning of the year. Do y'all remember that survey?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she came to me and she was like, okay, here are our survey results from what you guys shared with us. And I don't know if she got back to you or what she said or used with that data, but I'm going to go ahead and use it to tell you these were your main two responses as a first year teacher. What you wanted from us, from Canon. And the first thing is you wanted to connect with other first year teachers. That makes sense. And luckily we had a good amount in the building, which was really nice. But we need to be able to actually connect with each other and talk about it. And I said, we can't do that just during the school year. We need to do that at the end because you guys have learned a lot. So now we need to actually connect with each other. And one of those things that you said, how you wanted to connect, was you wanted to share what strategies are working. Because there's so many different strategies out there, just millions. If you just Google what strategies can I use to help my class, so many are gonna pop up. And you can't try them all. But luckily you guys have had enough time, enough experience to actually think in your mind what strategies have worked, what haven't. I mean, I'm in my third year of teaching and I know what strategies are starting to work a lot more than what strategies didn't work out at all, which is okay. This is kind of like your trial year. You had a lot of things that you're trying out, and I want to see what has worked. Because maybe what's worked for you hasn't worked for me, but maybe I want to try that next year, and vice versa. So let's talk about that. But first, before we do, I want to talk about some things that you guys have overcome, because there's a lot of things that are very difficult and different about Canon. This is a STEM school. There's a lot of hands-on learning. There's a lot of learning with lower students because they need that hands-on. There's a lot of parent things, that parent involvement. And one of them is communication with parents. Across the board, it's terrifying. I'll be honest, I'll agree with you. It's hard, it's not easy, especially when you see the whole school. I can't imagine what that's like.
it's not fun.
I can't imagine. The second one is our PLC meetings, specifically unit design challenges. That is very specific for Canon. Not all schools do that. They are amazing and they come up with the most beautiful things, but I'll be honest with you, I still get overwhelmed in these meetings. And if you don't, I'm very impressed by you because I'll finish the day and I'll be like, woo, and I'll even say to Miss Miller, I'll be like, I'm exhausted. Like that was a lot because it is a lot, but it's worth it. The last thing you overcame is the crazy amounts of new technology. ClassLink, Skyward, Ed, Science STEM Scopes. Like think about all those little apps that you learned this year that you didn't know before this year. Think about the new teacher coming on next year not knowing anything. How to make lesson plans. How to go even on the ClassLink resource link and read the Canon Times every week, every Sunday. We get the Canon Times. You have to be able to find that. And then all the resources within there. It's a lot. So think about the fact, these are just 3. These are personally my top 3, and I assumed they were probably one of your top 3. But there are so many more. Think about all those things that you've overcome this year. That's a big deal. And I feel like this should be said in front of the whole school. It's a big deal that y'all are still here and standing and like ready to go every day and still here, because some teachers, they do walk out. You haven't walked out, so I'm very proud of you. Thank you, personally. But we're gonna actually reflect a little bit, and I gave you guys these cute little notes cards right here. And I wanna give you guys actually time to reflect about yourself, about this year. Specifically, what would you tell your first day of school self? Teacher that's never been at Canon, teacher that had never taught before, that only knew things from college. I'm gonna give you guys about 3 minutes to write down on your note card, and then we're gonna share out what are some things that you would tell yourself. How would you help yourself those first day of school? What would you tell yourself? So I'll give you guys a minute to do that. or 3 minutes to do that. And this on here on Canva, it actually has this cool function where you can just click on show a timer, and then you can actually change it to what minute you want, and you can even add music to it. So I'm gonna give you some upbeat music to do this.
That's
to.
on Canva?
Uh-huh.
Nice.
Almost nice. You can't hear it. Let me turn it up. I want y'all to hear this. If you touch right here, and then you click the 3 dots, then you can click on the
Well,
timer.
now, how'd you get like the bar in the piano to change the volume?
Oh, 2-finger swipe.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
No. So we need a whole class on using these smart boards. See, it's the
Mhm.
technology. It is. It's the technology. Look, you just learned something new.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. This penmanship is so good. I love teacher handwriting. Mine used to be terrible, and then I became a teacher, and now it's wonderful.
I know I was writing something on my board and you're like, what's that letter? It's a G. So I slow down.
Okay, about 30 more seconds, start wrapping up that last thought. What would you tell yourself? All right, let's talk about it. Let's talk about what you would tell your first day of school self. But of course, we can't just tell each other that. That would be boring. We're teachers. We like to have fun. So we're gonna do a ball toss boogie. And this is actually from Lead Forward, and it's called the Lead Forward Instructional Playlist. They have a ton of different instructional activities that you can do with kids that they've already thought of. So you don't even have to think about it, which is wonderful, because a lot of days I'm already exhausted, tired from lesson planning, I gotta make some copies, I don't wanna have to think about how I'm gonna get my kids to interact today. They have a whole playlist, which I actually linked into our calendar, so you can go back and look at that. But one of them I really like is the ball toss boogie. But in my classroom, I have a lemon, because my classroom is lemon and lime themed. And so we're gonna use this lemon to be able to share out. And it's pretty simple. You get in a circle. We don't have to get in a circle. You can stay seated. But we'll get in a circle in your classroom. You would just ask whatever question you were going to ask. You could have them do a quick right first like I just did, and then you could have them stand up in a circle, or you could just pose a question. And then they have to catch it. So in our case, another teacher has to catch it, and then you can share what you wrote. But I really like reflecting on what you guys did, and like how you would talk to your beginning of yourself, because it really shows like how you've grown. So who would like to go first for the ball toss boogie?
I can go.
All right, Miss Miller.
Sweet. So
So I said that there's gonna be a lot of good days, a lot of bad days, but you're gonna make it through. Because I just was thinking about the beginning of the year being a new teacher at a new school, and the fact that my AC broke in my classroom at the beginning of the year. And so we would
Like
get into
3
a
times.
routine of being in the classroom, and then the AC would break, so then we'd go to a new classroom. And then we'd figure out a routine there, and then it would be back, so then we'd have to switch back. And just like a lot of inconsistencies. And so it was just really stressful having to figure out a whole new routine and a whole new classroom once I already had mine. So there's going to be some good days and bad days, but you're going to make it through. And you're going to learn something every day.
I love that. All right, go ahead and call another teacher. Or
Sweet. Here
someone
you
raise
go,
their
Miss
hand.
Sutton.
Alright, so I said that basically not to be afraid, first I was like, that you got this, don't be afraid to communicate with parents, because they ultimately just want what's best for their kid, and they want to hear good and bad what's going on in your classroom, and that they're going to have your side. And I also said that, things are going to take some trial and error, because you're not going to get it on the first try. Like, I've done so many different things during my ICANN, I've done so many different things to figure out how I've wanted the kids to work independently, and how I wanted them to do like their different grouping and our HMH stuff. So it's taken, it's gonna be trial and error before you get it right. But the biggest thing is that even though you may feel like you're not doing enough one day, that you're still making a difference. As long as you're showing up for the kids, they're still learning.
That is so, man, y'all have some good answers. This is amazing. Okay, yeah, go ahead. You can have someone else share.
All right, I'll test this way. Let a great toss.
Okay,
It is fake lemon. It is.
I have a list, but the first thing that I wrote was, these kids have no idea what you know and what you don't know. And so I would tell myself, at the end of every 50 minutes, they have no idea that, you feel like you're still the kid. I did not feel like the teacher at the beginning. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm an imposter. So I would just tell myself, hey, at the end of this 50 minutes, you start again with a new group, which I know y'all don't get to do that, but I do. So I would just tell myself, hey, they have no idea how confident or how scared you are. So
Wow.
just you are their teacher and that's all you know. So just do your very best. And then if it goes badly in 50 minutes, we will rethink and start again.
Try again.
And then like you said, with calling parents, I had one really bad parent call that truly traumatized me for the rest of the year. So now I have to just breathe deeply and hype myself before I call. And like you said, I have a mindset now of they want to hear the good and the bad. And if they are one of those parents that's not trying to hear anything, that's okay. Just, it doesn't matter.
That is so
Just do
good.
your best. So,
That's so good.
all right, Ms. Rowe.
So I put, the biggest one for me was don't stress about what your coworkers might think, because I internalize what other people might think a lot. And in PLC meetings and stuff, I would have ideas, but I wouldn't share. I would lean over to Stephanie and be like, "What should I share this?" And she'd be like, "Chloe, stop that." And then we got to
Kirby Donaldson.
and then we got all set up for our start intro and stuff, and I was reading the directions, and I realized I didn't know what app they were supposed to go to.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no, and I didn't want to ask anybody because I was afraid what they might think, and nobody thought anything bad.
Yeah.
Dr. Garrett came in and tried to help, and then Christy Wagner came in, and it was fine. So, yeah.
Lean
so
on your
stress
people. We
about-
care about you. Lean on
Yeah.
your people.
Okay. Let's guys.
Mine's kind of similar to Chloe's. It's just don't be afraid to ask for help. Canon is a great community, and it really does take a village to raise a child, or in this case, many children. And so part of it is that parent communication, and just communication with literally just any of the staff members here at the school. I found help in some of the most surprising of places. It's been really nice.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, lean on your people, reach out, be confident in yourself. Remember, the kids don't know when you're afraid. They really don't. So if you're just taking each day, one day at a time, one change at a time, because there's lots of little changes, you're going to be just fine. And I love that you said that. I wish someone had told me that the first day of school, because those are all great responses. So we're going to specifically talk about classroom environment. That was one of the biggest things that was on that survey, was you guys wanted to make sure that the classroom environment was at its best. And that's where you guys were wanting the most help with, or to actually talk about. Not even help, maybe just wanted to process through how other people have their classroom or PE environment. Because you do this all day long as classroom management for you. So these were the top 3 that you guys shared. One was transitions, the second one was positive reinforcement, and the third one was time management. So how do you get the kids to move around in your room, or to leave your room, or line up for your room? How do you get the kids motivated each day? How do you keep them on time with the activities, physical or scholastic? I was thinking mental, but that wasn't the word. But these are the top 3 that we're going to go through. And so we're going to start with a game to do it. So this is how we're going to go through each one. So this one's called Rise and Shine. This one's also on Lead Forward. Normally you would use, let me exit this out so you can see. So there's 3 different items. If one of them is your favorite, 1, 2, or 3, if a dog would be your favorite, you'd hold up a 1. If a cat would be your favorite, a 2. A gecko, lizard, what is this, Miss Grice? You know it.
Just a lizard.
Just a lizard, okay. You'd hold up a 3. She has a pet,
Bearded dragon.
Bearded dragon, yeah. So what you'll do is you'll pick one of these that you think is your favorite, then you'll look around and you'll see who else has their favorite one. Then you'll rise to go greet that person and talk about whatever the prompt is, and then you'll shine by actually talking to them. I do want you to stand up this time, so you will stand up. But if for some reason there's someone that doesn't have a partner, just walk up, or we have an odd number, so you can have a group of 3 or I'll come over to you. But we're adults here, so we don't have to explain that. But if it was your classroom and there was a kid that didn't have a partner, just go walk over there, be their partner. Don't try to make them forced to be a partner if they're by themselves. So, with that being said, we're gonna get started. First, we're gonna start with transitions. So I gotta know, where would you vacation? 1, the beach, 2, the mountains, or 3, Disney World. Personally, 3, Disney World would be mine. So if you are beach, hold up that 1. If you are mountains, hold up that 2. And if you are Disney World, hold up that 3.
No way, me? What?
What? Shocker.
Shocker.
But what you guys are going to talk about with that partner, you can look around the room, is what transitions have worked well for you. So that means lining up to leave, coming back into the classroom, moving into the carpet, getting supplies. So what are ways that you get your kids to move around your room? How do you do that effectively? So I'm going to let you guys go ahead and we'll do about 30 seconds doing that to move around. And I'll give you about a minute to talk, so you can go ahead and walk over to your person. And I'll give us about a minute to talk.
You're my person.
Am I your person?
Wow.
Perfect.
Mountains.
Oh,
I'll go
I
with
keep
Miller.
doing that.
Even though I'm not a
Yes.
Disney World person.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what kind of transitions have worked well for you?
I was overwhelmed at first with like everybody trying to get everything out. Then I did classroom jobs and did like a notebook person who handed out the notebook, or several, there's like 3 of them. And like somebody that handed out scissors, and somebody whose job was to hand out glue. And like somebody whose job was to, you know, like, random stuff. And it really helped with me being overstimulated and then giving them what they need without it being
Oh, I like that.
So the big thing for me is that like whether they're walking in or whatever. Normally for turning in jumpers, I do 3 pits, or to cut them to 0 seconds. Because if you don't, then
Yeah, I've done that before too. It's they are done by my timer, by when I'm done cutting down, I get a point, and we do teacher versus student. Just like this, whoever wins, we get to go outside.
So I kind of do something similar, like I just like what talking about. We do teacher versus student.
Okay, freeze. Finish that last thought if you need to. But we're going to go ahead and move on to the next one. This time we're talking about positive reinforcement. So how do you motivate your students to show cub pride, to do their best, and to be respectful? So think about what are ways that you get your kids to want to learn. What makes them want to be a part of your class? What reward system do you use? How do you positively motivate them, okay? And we're going to find new partners this time with our 3, 2, 1. So 1, would you rather right now be eating gummy bears? 2, would you rather be eating Skittles? Or 3, would you rather be eating sour gummy worms? If it's none of these, then just pick which one you might want to try. Personally, right now, I think this one for me.
For you?
All right, So go ahead and go find your partner, and you guys can talk about how you motivate your students.
Oh, sorry.
Come join.
Come. Okay. Sorry.
You can, you can start. You don't have to wait for me. Y'all can start.
I know that. Time at the end of the day on Friday. We also, I sometimes do JoJo, and so they can like buy a sticker or something like that.
I'll have people close their eyes and vote. Because I don't like computers. Like I want them to like go outside.
I also do teacher versus student, but the big one this semester I started doing student, where the person who's shown co-writers or whatever that week, they get to shoot 4 baskets in my classroom and then their name on the wall, and that's been like pretty motivating. And on Friday they're always like, it's our student, who's gonna win? Oh my gosh!
I like that.
That is so cute.
They really like it.
PVC pipe is like this big, like that tall, and they get to shoot a tennis ball in these, and it's really hard, I guess.
I think that should show some pride in
They,
is
it's
filling out the
with that
acronym spelling.
Or I'll
And
get
so
like
if someone's showing
tattoos for
Cup Pride, then I
Yeah.
announce the class, or Cup Pride shout out, and I take the result and I put it on the
That's cute.
I love that. That is so cool. That is so cool.
Yeah, I do want to shout out Grace for that one. If you ever want to see her Cub Pride motivator, it's really cool. She worked really hard on it, but it's pretty much like this clip system to see if they're showing the different Cub Pride elements, and you should check it out for as you're walking out. It's on your way out, so you might as well go look at it. Okay, and then our last one is time management. This is crucial in education because we don't have a lot of time. We really don't. Like, our minutes are really down to the minute every single day. Like, most people's jobs are like, yeah, I have a few hours to work on that. No, we're like, I have literally 2 minutes and 37 seconds to work on it. So it's crucial to actually get that time and get that time. Like, how are you helping them during their class lessons? Or prepping for, like, prepping before lessons? How do you manage your time to get all of your copies that you need? Or planning with your teams. How do you make sure that you're with them, that you're planning, you're getting those big activities, you have big things to set up. So how do y'all plan that and coordinate that? So our last one is gonna be your dream home. If you had to pick any of these for your dream home, would it be a log cabin very quietly somewhere in the mountains, away from all people? Would it be in a beautiful royal palace or castle? Or would it be just at a really nice mansion with a pool and just a beautiful home? So if you're 1 in that cabin, just stay away from me, I'm fine with that. 2, castle, I'm a princess, let me do my princess life. Or 3, give me that mansion. What would you want? I think I'm gonna go with 1. Okay, find your people. If you don't have a person, just come join somebody. Just come join somebody.
I like it. The castle is only for the really nice old library. Yeah.
The little cottage like houses.
It's
It's a whole thing.
I like whenever we go on vacation.
Okay.
How do you
Yes. Well, I guess I'll share something that I just tried today. We've been doing the work on cursive, and I have some kids who are super fast and some people are like really slow but trying to find. And some are like able to get it done. But then when they're all kind of so today I tried and I said, okay, I'm gonna play this song.
in
It's
the
just like
classroom.
yeah,
Because sometimes
calming.
I'm caught up like
Small
small
group.
group.
I was like, okay, we're gonna listen to the song, and then when the song is up, they have to be done with it first. So they, and the ones who do finish are supposed to go sit down and work on a reading choice.
As far as outside and through the classroom.
And so if they're not
Stage
supposed to,
focuses.
trouble or whatever, but it just helped me with that one, like it's just
Honestly,
like
something as simple as having coffee.
and you're stretching it out. So
Oh,
you
that's
have
so
something.
true.
So timing it to music is really helpful.
I think for me, prepping for lessons is still the big practice that I have.
Yeah.
I just take
Makes
so
me
much
feel
time.
good.
I take too much
Excited.
time.
I can get timers.
Anyway.
Oh, yeah. And so
during
I'm
class
embrace that and
lessons,
I think just
everything,
including like
math is pretty
routine
routine
oriented, which is me.
One month, then we do a short
Alright,
mini
10 minutes to
lesson,
work on
and
this
then
and
they have time
Go.
to practice, and so just kind of sticking to that schedule. So
Sometimes
they
it
can
takes
out of
longer
it.
than I have
Just
set
like
time
looking
for,
at
but-
using timers, using clocks.
That's so true. Timers are super helpful. I use them all the time. I mean, use them
Yeah.
now.
So,
I use them like to do the
We
business
all do,
too.
yeah.
You just have to keep
So I have.
Or say if I just do this much school, then I can have this much time to like be on my phone.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah,
that's so true.
like cold turkey cut it. So on Thursdays, when they're doing karate after school, I'll do all my lesson planning, and then I'll get it all set up. And sometimes I come up here on Sunday alone. And my baby runs around in the gym. And it's
Aw.
it's adorable. So we made our family thing.
I love it. That's sweet.
Well, that was my last one of that, so you guys can go ahead and have a seat. Go ahead and take a seat. You deserve it. You've been on your feet all day. Please sit down. Prop them up if you need to. You're adults. Do what you need to do. But I really just want to personally tell you guys, in your personal skills, you relied on your teams well. I really do mean that. Like, we have heard a lot of feedback from all different grade levels of how well you guys have been coming to your teams about the things you need to get work on, the things that you need help in, the ideas that you're coming up with. Because you are, not anymore, now you're expert teachers, but you were first year teachers. You came with all these new ideas or from other schools, and it's been impressive. And we've used a lot of y'all's ideas. It's been awesome. Because you're no longer the first year, you're the expert now. So we don't have that excuse anymore, okay? Although you can't ask me I still ask lots of questions. It doesn't matter how experienced you are, you're gonna ask all the questions. But I just want you to know you are the experts, and if someone were to come here today, I would trust them with you to help them and teach them about the way that we work here at Cannon, because that's something you can do now. But now we need to talk about something that is very, 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 very important. And that's making time for rest. That's hard. As a teacher, that's hard to do because we're thinking about 110 million things, and then we go home and lay in our bed and continue to think about 110 million things that we don't need to be thinking about. And so my biggest thing that I want to talk to you guys is rest is the most important thing you can do as a teacher. And sometimes that's as simple as finding one tiny hobby that you can do every single day. I'm going to be very vulnerable with you guys. This year I've had a really tough class. They're just really low. It's been really hard. It's been really draining. I came to Tina and Alejandra about a month ago sobbing because I've just been having a really hard time with this group. And sometimes that happens. We get to a point where we're exhausted. You know what was the first thing our principal told us, or told me? First thing she told me was, what are you making time to do for yourself? I was like, oh, right. I need to think about myself too. That's real. But that's reality, is we go through every single day and we're just surviving because we get to a point where we're just exhausted, we're tired. We know all the things we need to do, and we need to find that joy because what you're doing is you're serving all day. You're serving kids, you're serving families, you are the most help. But what you also need to do is you can't keep filling a bucket, because once you're full, it stops. Like you're giving so much. You gotta fill. Because if all you're doing is giving, there's nothing else left to give. So we gotta fill that bucket back up. So we have to think about what are ways that you do that. How do you fill your own bucket? It could be outside of school. It could be something inside of school. But what are ways that you're filling your bucket? Personally, when my principal, or our principal, asked me that question, I looked at her and I said, I just love being outside. Anytime I'm outside in nature, anytime I hear the trees and birds, and that just makes my day. She goes, okay, then every single day you need to get outside. So some days I'm full of energy and I take my dog for a walk. Other days I'm zonked and I just get a quilt and lay down in the grass. I'm not even kidding. Those are the two things I do. Is either I'm on a quilt with my dog outside, or I go and take him for a walk, because that's what fills me up. It's what relaxes my body, it calms me down. But you guys have some paper, and I'm gonna pass these out too because there's some smelly markers over here, but I want you guys not to write. You're not writing. We're not writing right now, you're drawing. I want you to draw one thing that makes you relax, that gives you rest, or makes you have rest. If that's being on your phone, give yourself 30 minutes to be on your phone. If that's going outside, do something where you go outside. But you need to actually spend time in some way. I'm very serious about this. In some way, filling yourself up, because this is a hard job. So I'm going to give you guys a minute to draw. Drawing is also another way I relax too. So these specifically have smells, which also relax me, but I'm going to add some more to y'all. I want you guys to just draw what's one way that you can relax. And as a teacher, you can use this activity to help students that might not have words, but even just to start a lesson or a unit, You can start a lesson or a unit with drawing. Like, what do they know? Draw a picture of what you know about this topic. Work with me. I think for this one, I'm gonna have a calm timer. We'll be a focus time. Let's do that one. Focus. That makes my brain happy. We have some artists in the room. Come on. Let's go with Disney. Come on.
Disney
You draw them? I need to see some pictures of that. That's incredible.
Thanks.
Is that a big T?
Oh, you bet
With
it
the
is.
crochet hook.
Ooh.
Artsy.
We love a GT queen.
I'm not gonna make you stand up. You can share with your neighbors though. What are some ways that you relax? Because this is important and they might have an idea that you're like, ooh, I wanna take that. I actually might be taking notes myself. So you can go ahead and start sharing with the people around you. You don't have to give up. You just share with the people around you.
I like to read. I like to draw Disney characters. I like to talk on the phone. I didn't want to draw a board old iPhone, that's why I drew classroom phone. And then I like writing letters to my friends who are not in the area.
That's sweet.
Yeah, I started during COVID and I just kind of never stopped.
Do you have like specific like pen pals that you reach out?
Yeah,
I love that.
yeah, they're mostly people I went to TCU with, but they've spread out, and so I send them. I text them obviously, but I also like send them a little mail.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's fun.
I actually do the same thing.
Yeah.
With my friends, yeah. We write letters.
I should have a pen pal. That would be
Yeah.
nice.
It's so fun.
That's easy too.
Yeah.
Relaxing, you just get a
Yeah.
moment. And,
Yeah.
So smart.
But that only lasts
Is yours a
until Christmas.
specific tea?
I get home and be like,
It depends.
Okay.
It depends. I really like
yeah,
green
I
and
love
black
to read
tea,
in my handwriting.
but I'm open to trying other teas that are not citrus teas. And I got some tea for Easter,
Yeah.
and it was Bridgerton themed, and I'm so excited.
That is awesome. We need to find some themed teas. Oh my god. I like
I'll
that.
be reading and then I'm like, oh.
Oh my gosh.
I also crochet,
It's nice when.
so I knew for a while that I was.
Okay,
going
does
to be a
anyone have one
teacher,
they're just like,
so
I really want to
decided
share this so
crochet
everyone can
my
feel
own
this
cardigan.
relaxed? If not, we don't have to share. If anyone has one that's like, I just want to share this.
I'll share.
Go for it.
Okay, so I drew a picture of me in a hammock reading a book because I just love being outside, love being able to read, and it's just kind of combining both of them. And it's so relaxing, and sometimes I don't even end up reading, I just fall asleep, and that's fine too, you know? It's just a way to like not think about work, just to decompress.
That's a good decompress. That is. I agree. But just remember, reflect on these things that bring you joy, that really like calm you down, so that way you can come every day and be your best self. Because that's what we want. We want people who are here to be their best selves, but you can't be that if you're not taking care of yourself at home. Okay? So be mindful of what things you can do, and I mean every single day. Do something for yourself. That sounds a little selfish, but it's really not. You give so much every day, so think of something every day that you can do for yourself. But without further ado, I have a survey for you. I'd love for you to take a few minutes to fill it out. I am going to be reading this, but they are anonymous. And then after you finish taking the survey, you're free to go. But all of these Lead Forward playlists are on our agenda, and I really highly recommend you like starring that page, because there are just so many amazing ideas that you guys can use, that I use all the time, that just make my classroom go smoothly, because it's just activities that you can do with your kids. and they're really easy to implement with the content that we use, which is why I used it for my slides here, because I just wanted to share it with you guys. So thank you so much. This was so fun. And also, if you ever want to know where my room is, it's right in the back, way in the corner.
It's kind of like how mine is too. Mine is like.
But as you are leaving, we did write some cards for you. These are from your mentor teachers. So they wanted to each write a card to you. I know we didn't get to meet up a lot this year, but we wanted you guys to leave with something, not just the playlist, but something personal. So read this whenever you would like. If you want to do this at home, you can read it at home. You don't have to read it now. But we do love you guys. So great job. You're now an expert. Welcome to Canon.
Here, Isabel.
Thank you, Abigail.
Thank you.
There was two for you.
Sweet.
Chloe. Yeah.
Oh, I know.
But y'all have a good afternoon.
Thank you
Did
so
you pause
much.
it? You can stop it. I'll cut that part off.